Hello, everybody, and welcome to this edition of In a Heartbeat. I'm your host, John Clore, and today I really think that you're going to enjoy our topic. You know, we're coming to you live from the beautiful studio here at WMTV-5 in Grosse Pointe Farms, and we're in the War Memorial. So this is going to be a fun day for you to learn and listen about some things that are going on in the city that has a near and dear topic to my heart, and that's mobility. You know, our whole country was founded on the ability to get out and about and to spread our wings and go west and learn about our great land. And part of that is the solution that Detroit gave America, which was to put us on wheels and give us the ability to get outside of our hometown and go see this wonderful world. Well, we have a couple of guests today from a company called Advantage Mobility Outfitters, and they're out in Wayne, Michigan. And our guests today are going to tell us about how they provide mobility to people that have physical challenges. So I'd like to introduce Lynn Slevin. Lynn, welcome to the show. Nice to see you. And we have Jeff Stiles from Advantage Mobility. Jeff, thanks for joining us today.
Thanks for
I
having
think
us.
we've got a really cool topic because I know that people that have certain challenges in their life, you know, the one thing they don't want to lose is their ability to get around. And so I'm really pleased to be able to talk about what Advantage does and the fact that you guys provide a lot of solutions for people that I think don't even know that there are solutions out there. Tell us a little bit about Advantage and how long it's been around and kind of what its basic core business is.
Advantage Mobility is a family-owned business, been in business for over 30 years.
Wow.
We provide mobility solutions from the very basic all the way up to very complex. It's mainly about providing a better quality of life for those with physical disabilities.
You know, and Lynn, when you talk about that, I mean, when you talk about the whole world of trying to get people out and about, how does someone that finds themselves in this situation, maybe from their doctor, how do they get reference to having a solution for a challenge that they have?
And sometimes that is a problem because you've just recently been injured or you've recently had something that's, you know, inhibited your mobility. It's tough to know where to start. So it really helps to either get a number to call or have a reference from a therapist, maybe a physical therapist. There's eval schools that, you know, will evaluate you for your driving, you know, and see and point you in a direction of somewhere that you might be able to go. And a company such as ours, you know, we're more than happy to give out some, you know, some information, even just help people get pointed in the direction.
Right, I think that's kind of important, which is why we're having the show today, everybody, to give you this information. I think what would really, everybody thinks of, well, we've seen people that have handicap stickers in their cars and they've kind of struggled getting in and out of their car, but we also, when we think of a handicapped vehicle, we think of the full-size van, and that's what our typical, our thoughts go to, that we see a van that's been converted. So Jeff, why don't we talk a little bit about some of the conversions that you guys do, and I know that we start with that full-size van for the typical wheelchair ride, or maybe even getting several people in and around town.
Well, the full-size van is really, if you have a family, you're in a big-size wheelchair, you're sitting very tall, that's where we do a lot of the full-size conversions. They have the capability to put a raised roof on there, to put a lowered floor in there to provide you with the headroom you need inside the vehicle.
So it's more than just buckling down a place for a spot on the floor for the chair. It's a way how to get it up into the van.
Correct. A wheelchair lift, wheelchair ramp. There's a lot that goes into deciding on the vehicle that's going to work best for a family.
Which is what I understand why a lot of people go to a minivan, because they don't like that higher drive height. Maybe they want something a little more closer to the ground.
It's the ease of maneuverability, the garage ability.
Oh,
they like the gas mileage. You know, nowadays with the gas, they like the gas mileage. And they like the ease of being able to just roll right in. On the lowered floor minivans, you can sit in the front passenger area in most cases. So it's a very popular conversion nowadays.
You know, Lynn, when you talk about getting around, it's not just the vehicle. Sometimes you have your own vehicle, and maybe you've had a disability with some of your limbs or your ability to control the vehicle. What other solutions do you have other than buying a van? What other solutions do you have?
just about any vehicle made today can have mobility equipment,
Mm-hmm.
either added or installed in it. Hand controls is a very good example, something that maybe you just need a little bit of assistance, you know, that to help you drive that car. And we've got several solutions available.
And when it comes to the controls, not just running the vehicle and steering and running the gas and the brake, but getting in and out, the egress thing, are there other ways to help you get in and out of the car or the vehicle itself?
Sure, John. There's turning automotive seating, which will let the seat swivel out over the rocker panel. On your SUV type vehicles, it will lower to the ground for ease of transfer from a scooter wheelchair.
But Jeff, you're talking about you're sitting in the vehicle and the seat that you're in will lift up and out of the vehicle itself so that you can get outside the vehicle?
Yes, for those.
That's pretty cool.
It
Yeah,
is very
yeah.
cool.
and it really helps a lot of people. And part of the beauty of those seats is they're transferable from one vehicle to the next.
So, but once you get outside, you've got your chair. How do you carry the chair? I mean, how does that, do you have other solutions? How do you?
Sure, there's a multitude of solutions where we can put a lift in the back of the vehicle that will pick, if somebody just needs help getting around, like in a store, we can put a lift in the back, pick their scooter or wheelchair up and put it in the back of their vehicle, and they can walk up and get in the driver's seat or passenger seat.
Now, these things you offer like that, or the chair topper, are they pretty much easy enough to use without bringing 2 or 3 people along with you? Because don't you think that if you're out and about, the last thing you want to do is asking somebody for help. There's a sense of independence when you're driving your own vehicle, and you don't want to, you know, if you have a way to help you get this chair stored or stowed, you don't want to be asking someone to help out. These are pretty much self-running?
That's what it's all about, is the independence of life. And we, with the proper education, we help the customer pick what's going to work best for them and give them the greatest independence. And that's the goal, is to let them go on their own to the store.
So you would be able to show them, if they bought this equipment, actually they would come to Advantage and you could actually teach them the use of stowing.
Oh, absolutely.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, absolutely. We always provide training, instruction, not only to the person who's going to use the equipment, but to the whole family or to anyone that they feel might be accompanying them, you know, in the vehicle. And
You know, that was a question I had about that, because a lot of the people that I know that maybe they're getting up in years, say, they don't really want the kids to come along and take mom to the store. They feel independent. I mean, their driving skills are still good enough that they feel they can get out about. But sometimes just getting in and out of the vehicle, they don't have a wheelchair, Jeff. I'm talking about an elderly person that just, it's difficult to get in and out of their car. Is there something you can do with them? I mean,
Sure, there's something as simple as grab handles, like you would have in your shower or something like that, to help them provide a good handhold to get in and out. There's the turning automotive seating.
now that's, I mean, that's with a swivel on the floor?
It's a swivel on the floor, and like your sedan, it'll swivel out so that people can swing their legs out of the vehicle,
Wow.
hold onto the door, and just stand up instead of trying to climb out of the vehicle.
Now, does that use the car's seat or the vehicle seat itself, or do you have to adapt that seat so that it can swivel?
In some cases, we can use the OEM seat. Sometimes we have to replace it with a seat from the seat manufacturer.
Lynn, don't you
But
remember back in the day they had cars that had swivel seats, or didn't they have the
Yeah.
swing? Well, the
Yeah.
Thunderbird, I think, had the swivel
yeah,
away.
and here we go again.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So-
But some of the nice seats these days too, if it's a higher vehicle, we can actually install a seat that will come out and then lower to the ground.
As you step out.
Yeah, as you
Yes.
step out. So it brings you right down to ground level. And to your other point, if you, let's say you want to do this completely independently and you need a scooter or you need something like that, there's many different lift arrangements that we'll show you some pictures of later too, that
Okay.
can just lift out your scooter at the same time that your
That
seat
you're
is
getting out?
bringing
Wow.
you out of the vehicle.
Well, you go shopping, and you always, whether it's the grocery store or Meijer or the mall, and a lot of people do have mobility issues, personal mobility issues, once they're out and about, and they need an electric cart or a
Sure.
scooter. And I've always wondered, you know, you see them in stores. Sometimes the stores will offer them where they don't really want to spend a lot of time on their feet. They'll have a cart, but their own personal scooters. It's a big thing now.
Very big.
People that felt that their legs or their joints weren't good enough to get around and about, but the scooter gives them that freedom to do that. But the hassle always was, at least that's what I heard, that, well, how do I get the scooter into my vehicle, and how do I somehow handle that. Getting to the stores with the scooter was an issue. Is there ways you do that? I mean, is it outside the vehicle, inside the vehicle? How does that work, Jeff?
Both, depending on the vehicle, there's applications, depending on your scooter, your vehicle, and we are connected with lift manufacturers where we can educate you on what's going to work best for you,
Okay.
different options.
So if you had a different brand scooter, you could handle all the different brands, no matter what their size or configuration.
Yes,
Absolutely.
So depending on which one you bought, because a lot of people don't want to buy a new one, they're familiar with that, you know, you understand that. Okay, well, the typical application might be with people that are in a wheelchair and they have to deal with the chair. And then like you talked about earlier, Jeff, wheelchairs, some of these things, I've seen them, they've got motors on them, they're fast and they're real mobile. They're not what we used to think of, you know,
And
the
they're
big
very
clumsy
heavy.
chair. They're very heavy, and moving them
Yes.
around, I mean, just pushing them, you know, when I
Yeah.
take my mom to the airport and you push that, even a lightweight chair, it's a lot of work. And so
Yes.
you can see with the batteries on board, why someone would want to be able to have a little help with the chair. But you don't want to, they're expensive.
They're
And you don't want to hang them like just anywhere on the car. So how do you accommodate someone with a big or maybe a small chair? How do you accommodate that into a car or truck?
that's where a good education comes in, showing them what's available, if it will fit in the car or if it'll fit on the outside of the car. There's different lists for different applications.
Well, here's one question I have about that. You have say you have a sedan
Yeah.
and you have a foldable chair. Is there something for a back door, or I mean, how would you use it?
There's, several different applications. I mean, a chair topper
Yeah.
is always and especially if you want to put a lift or a hoist, to get it up and down off of there, in the trunk with a lift to bring it out of the trunk.
You know-
I'm sure there's,
Or a simple little platform in the back that plugs into a trailer
I
hitch.
have seen those. I have seen those.
Yes.
So that's a little closer to the ground, something they can deal with real easily because they're outside and
They tip, you roll your chair up, it tips back up and locks,
it locks in place.
and it ties it down, and away you go.
Really cool. Now,
Yeah.
what about, let's keep throwing these at you. What about a guy that's got an active lifestyle and he needs a pickup truck? And no offense to the vans, he doesn't want to be in a van. He maybe he hauls something or has a hobby, and he wants to get out and about in the truck. Is it limited to just extended cab trucks, or are your solutions with any kind of full-size pickup?
There's solutions for many types of pickups. Usually the extended cab pickup allows enough room for, say, a turning seat,
Okay.
where we can get the person out, lowered to the ground. We can have a boom lift come over, drop his wheelchair right next to him. We have a lot of customers that are hunters, fishermen,
Really?
that they continue their lifestyle. They don't like the stigma of driving a van,
Yeah.
full size or mini. They want to stick with their pickup truck.
I think that is so cool.
a very cool solution that I've seen these guys do is put, if you want your wheelchair protected in bad weather, you still want to get out and about, have your top of your pickup truck, either the canopy or a cap over it, motorized. We can provide a remote control, so from inside the cab,
Wow.
before you even get out, you can activate your tourney seat, and as the tourney seat is bringing you out and lowering you to the ground, you're activating the remote to open the cap of your pickup.
Wow.
The lift will come out, bring your chair out, set your chair right next to you to the tourney seat, and you're on your way.
That's amazing. That's a,
Yeah.
That's
I don't,
independence.
yeah, you
That's
know, really.
independence.
And also, giving you, it's one thing to be free to go to the store, but free to enjoy a hobby.
Getting out, going to the lake, you want to go to the beach, you want to go to a park. It's
A little
gets you
bit
out
different
and
than people
about.
would, I mean, in your mind, you don't think that those kinds of possibilities exist.
Yeah.
Well, let's shift gears a little bit here. Let's talk about, those are all personal applications, and everybody that's out there that has maybe a challenge to get around, you ought to consider, contacting Advantage, because there are people that just need a little bit of help. It's not anything big. Maybe you don't have those confined challenges from a chair or a scooter, but it's something to look into, because it's all about quality of life.
That's true.
I mean, so,
Absolutely.
and what we were talking about earlier in the green room, both Jeff and Lynn were saying that, when you think about quality of life, it's just, is it a hassle for you to get out and about? And if it's a hassle and it's no fun